please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Asian markets have opened up in the green early this morning. They've taken cues from the modest gains we saw on Wall Street.
So the market is ranged, both buying the dips and selling the rally is working, and you should stick with that.
I think the profit cycle, even with the 10-year yield rising a bit more, we have 325 for the end of the year. I don't think it's going to put pressure on the profit cycle.
Well, there goes the bell, and it's a very flat opening. Nifty 5,777, so it's 7 points higher.
Rupee has weakened, and it looks like the dollar index globally seems to be on a rising path with rising US yields. So that again is adding to the momentum in the IT sector.
Mr. Panamchan Gupta, out of his entire holding of more than 25% in the company, has gifted some part to someone in his family.
The margins over the last year or so, particularly EBITDA and then at the PAT level, have had a real boost from that other operating income.
We gather from sources with direct knowledge that Manipal TPG is ready to relax some of those conditions. In fact, there's a climb down coming in from Manipal TPG.
The indices are, quite dull, though the mid-caps are moving up as we speak, so there has been some recovery from the low point. And flat is good when you compare it with the rest of the Asian markets.
Okay, it's been that kind of an expiry for the last 3 or 4 days, absolutely in a range, 10,540 there, about 10,620 there, about 80-point band in a 3 or 4 days period. Bit of a market for option or delight of option sellers is what this market has been, and no different on expiry day. Let's see what happens in last hour. Hi, Surabhi.
Good afternoon, Anuj. So it's been so flat. I mean, as we speak, it's 0.00%. That's the kind of index level that we're getting. Do you sense that the last hour could throw up some more action?
Normally when expiry week is so dull and expiry day is so dull, the market sometimes chooses to surprise at 3 p.m. and has one big move. But frankly, I think you can pretty much write off this series. It's been a good series though for the bulls. I think from the levels of 10,000 to rally all the way up to 10,500 thereabout. We're facing some resistance at 50% zone. But earnings have been good so far. And I think really we'll talk more about it as well. Yes Bank's earnings really phenomenal, and the way that's now the top contributor, by the way, on the Nifty. I think that really for me stands out as the salient feature of trade today.
Oh, absolutely. I've been going through the details. I think on every parameter, asset quality, the way they're talking about increasing their provision coverage, a lot of those details seem to be positive. So, do you get the sense that this might at all trigger any kind of a relief for some of its peers as well? Overall on banking stocks, does this have a bearing?
No, see, I don't know about peers, but what you will see tomorrow morning is a big re-rating of Yes Bank. I won't be surprised if, brokerages come out with, price targets of 450, 460 on the stock and with big earnings upgrades. And, on this, we do Facebook Live as well, my position on Yes Bank has been very clear. A lot of people say a lot of things about Yes Bank, but you have to see the earnings. And, Rana Kapoor, for whatever it's worth, has delivered those earnings and is going to remain the CEO. So, I think the way if it wasn't for expiry, so today itself you would have seen a big re-rating in the stock. But tomorrow I think you'll see that almost best-in-class earnings is what we've seen from Yes Bank. You can't complain on the earnings.
Absolutely.
Whether it leads to rest of the sector, rest of the sector has its own problem, the likes of Axis. I think whatever Yes has done, perhaps Axis might take some sheen off. At least that's what the market buzz is. But overall, I think you had these 3 or 4 names, right? HDFC Bank, IndusInd, Yes Bank and Kotak Bank, which continue to deliver good earnings. Others have a bit of a problem.
Absolutely. Look at the way those two stocks are moving in opposite directions. Axis Bank on its way down, and Yes Bank continues to surge away. 54% growth in disbursements. That's the kind of loan growth that they've exhibited in Q4.
This last hour of trade, Mitesh Thakkar and Prakash Gaba now join us with closing strategies. Good afternoon. Mitesh, your thoughts first?
Yeah, good afternoon. So I think still, nothing much on the indices, and we've seen a very, very flat movement. You were just highlighting that the expiry could possibly bring in some movement, but I'm still not sure that in the last 1 hour we'll get a breakout beyond 10,620 or below 10,500 practically, since we are right in the midpoint of that 120, 130 point kind of range. So might not happen much, might be a quiet expiry. The bank Nifty has recovered a bit, I think, if it can continue to show momentum, start getting past 24,950, I think that could get some 1-2 day kind of momentum on the upside. But that apart, I think it remains a stock-specific market. The calls I have right now are a sell on ACC with a stop at 1570 for targets of 1515, and ITC is a buy. Keep the stop below 273 and look for targets close to about 283.
Okay, one sell, one buy. The stock that perhaps has disappointed the bulls today would be Reliance Industries. It was doing so well in the morning, but now has cooled off. Of course, yesterday was a much better day for RIL, but right now that one's absolutely close to the flat line. Let's see if there's a move as we go forward in the next 1 hour. Prakash Gaba is also with us. Prakash, good afternoon. Let's get your trading ideas as well.
Good afternoon, Surbi. Yes, I feel that Nifty is traded in a very narrow band of just 35 points. Not much to be seen here. Bank Nifty perhaps can still climb up to around 24,930. So it's really trading range bound. I have one long, one short. Infosys looks good to me. Perhaps we can see an up move in Infosys to maybe around 1195 zones. Stop below 1160 on Infosys should be fine. Stocks that look weak, HDI, I think is cracking. Trading at all-time low. It can even slide down to levels closer to 30 zones. Stop about 38.
Okay, Amrish Baliga in our studios now. Amrish, hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thoughts on Yes Bank first, since we are talking about these earnings right now, 5% higher as we speak.
Yes Bank clearly is among the better of the lot as far as, if you compare Axis, ICICI and Yes Bank in the same lot, then clearly Yes Bank is the better of the lot. But still, if a serious investor looking for longer term investment, I think one should still stay with stocks like HDFC Bank, Kotak. I think these are the ones to be stayed with.
Okay, SP Tilsen of sptilsen.com is also with us. Mr. Tilsen, good afternoon. Your thoughts on Yes Bank's earnings, and you reckon the stock could move higher from here?
I don't think that we can expect better than this working, from the bank. And in fact, what has been the surprising part that I've been seeing for last 24 hours, lot of apprehensions and concerns were were expressed by the media and analysts. But we have always, in fact, Yes Bank has been our top pick amongst all the private sector banks which we have been keeping for last two years or so. And actually, if you really see, Yes Bank has seen the best performer. Now, if you recall, when the Q3 numbers were came in, divergence issue was seen to be a big culprit here. Again, the divergence is seen, one may take a negative view on that, but that cannot be just one way of looking at the numbers. See the overall asset quality, growth. I don't think that you have any kind of complaint, and one can really expect any kind of better number than this from Yes Bank. So yes, keeping a positive view on this stock as an investor, but yes, those who have gone for the near-term buy, in fact, we gave a buy call ahead of the numbers about a week back. So as a trading position or maybe as a short-term investor, one can book the profits. Otherwise, we continue to maintain our positive call on the bank.
Okay, it's a positive view on Yes Bank. By the way, interesting moves on AU Small Finance as well. That's the smaller lender, newer baby that's going to be reporting numbers today. It's still holding on to gains of about 5%. Decent move in a couple of financial stocks. Edelweiss, for instance, has been sitting with a gain of almost 5% throughout the day. We've got JM Financials that's also been higher, almost 8.5% up, days high on JM Financial as well. Mr. Tulsian, good afternoon. On some of these smaller, newer banks, for instance, AU Small Finance, what would your view be? Is it a story that you like?
See, again, on this bank, I have expressed my view that I don't find much of the investment potential for the simple reason, if you are prepared to pay price to book of maybe 7x, even if I take the FY19 working, or maybe 6x, what is the logic, and that is the view we have kept on AU Bank and Bandhan Bank. Even if you take the growth, factoring in all the growth kind of things, I don't think that these kind of valuations are justified. Maybe, you see the anchor investors coming in, few strong hands, those who have been keeping the positive bias may not sustain for a very long time once they start exiting. So we have always taken a fundamental view that Bandhan Bank and AU Finance, both are seen to be ruling quite expensive, even just to give an indication of price to book, which I have stated here. So we are not keeping a investment potential view on AU Finance Bank.
Okay, not on AU Finance Bank. Amrish, thoughts on Wipro? That one, of course, has been a rank underperformer, and of course the numbers justified that. Right. But you reckon it's now good risk reward considering the kind of move we have seen in IT sector?
No, I think it's better to be, especially when the overall sector has been a laggard and just about bouncing back now, especially because the way the rupee has been moving. I think it's better to be with the leaders who have at least shown some performance than to remain with a laggard, which has been, I think, a laggard for a very long time. And you really don't expect the performance to improve at least over the next couple of quarters. So I think it's best to remain with TCS and Infosys if you're talking about the large caps.
Okay. By the way, two stocks on the move. Anuj, I've never understood these two stocks. BF Investments and BF Utilities. They're just spiking up days high on both of these right now. So just some of the names that are moving higher. Mr. Tulsian, a word on some of these, smaller alcohol beverage stocks. For instance, a stock like Pioneer Distilleries, which you could argue is a quasi play on USL. It's locked on 20% upper circuit. I don't know if you saw the numbers. Is there anything new here?
See, I don't think that numbers have anything to do with the Pioneer Distillery, because USL is the promoter holding 75% stake. That has been the continuous loss making. So probably because of the parentage or because of the pedigree, people are just taking a call on that stock. Coming specifically on the smaller this breweries stock, I have expressed that when the GM breweries came with the numbers, that all are not enjoying the benefits of the reduction in the molasses prices, because all may not be having the distilleries at their end where they buy molasses at a very cheap price, where we have seen the 90% fall in the product prices of molasses and processes into the ENA. So I don't think that is seen happening with these breweries, and the advantage is not flowing to them. Maybe United Spirits, maybe Radico Khaitan kind of things will be able to enjoy that because of the price fall seen in UP belt. But coming on Pioneer Distilleries, it has been traditionally, moving irrespective of its weak financials because of the USL being its promoter holding 75% stake.
Okay, that's an interesting point. 20% higher is what we have on that one. The other stock, Mitesh, which has looked interesting and we normally don't talk about it, is Nestle. Out of nowhere, of all days today, big move. Your thoughts? You do track some of these high-ticket items, so 9,080 now on that one.
In fact, it's done extremely well, Anuj. The entire April series, I think, it's moved up from 79.50 to about 9,200. Corrected in the last 4 days from 9,200 to about 8,700. I think that correction is over now. The stock is possibly getting into an uptrend again. Supports are now at 8,900. I think once it crosses this highs of 9,200, 9,220, do expect the stock to head towards 9,400, 500 zones, and I think that could be an area where profits can be taken. So it's done very well. I think the uptrend still remains. We've had one pullback, but I think eventually we'll see higher high.
Okay, 6% now on Yes Bank, so that re-rating is well and truly on, and that's kept the Bank Nifty in good stead. If you see the contribution, and after a long time, you've seen Yes Bank actually contribute the most in the Bank Nifty. So right now, that plate should come up for you before we take a break. Not on the Nifty. On Nifty also actually contributing 9 points, but on the Bank Nifty, even bigger contribution, 78 points. And the Bank Nifty is up only 27 points. So
really only about Yes Bank, because the others continue to sulk. I mean, Axis Bank, SBI, ICICI Bank, this trio, they obviously have no sentimental rub-off whatsoever. It's just Yes Bank charting its own trajectory with that 6% gain today. And the others are, you can see, pretty much at the lows of the day. So interesting dichotomy on banks playing out. Let's get some more trading ideas going. Sandeep Wagle is with us. Good afternoon, Sandeep. What do you have?
Afternoon, Surbi. I do have a Yes Bank. I think it has given a breakout and looks good for more. I would buy it with a stop loss of 330, target of 360 by maybe tomorrow. And a sell in a HDIL, stop loss of 40, target 31.
Okay, Sandeep, thanks a lot for those trading ideas. Mr. Tulsian, I know you've liked IDFC Bank, but what about IDFC? That is up 6% right now.
See, if you like IDFC Bank, obviously you will be liking IDFC also, because the major benefits or the major appreciation or the trigger flows now from the IDFC Bank. Now, if you take the call on the IDFC first, there are all talks of news that they are looking to monetize their non-strategic investments kind of things and all that. And if that happens, I'm taking, in fact, for the entire group. And if you take a call on IDFC Bank, numbers having come in, the share is available at a price to book of 1. And I don't understand the logic of these kind of valuations, when the company, when the bank is having, is taking over capital first, and you see the Vaidyanathan coming in as the CEO of the new bank, that is IDFC Bank. Because obviously the bank has a private sector tag. I don't think that there is much problem. In fact, cleaning of the books has happened in this Q4 numbers of IDFC Bank, which always happens, before a new CEO takes a charge into already about 3-4 months have elapsed, since the announcement of this merger. Maybe I think the merger integration should happen in next 3 to 4 months, and once that will happen, probably there will be a huge rush to buy these kind of stocks, because you have a private sector bank tag, and when you have the shortages of the proven CEOs, for hunting being searched by many private sector banks, maybe like Axis and ICICI Bank, obviously IDFC Bank will stand out clearly, on top. And in fact, probably, we have been keeping a very positive view on IDFC Bank going forward, and in fact advising that maybe with a view of about 3 to 5 years, one can remain invested to look for a CAGR share price return of maybe about 24-25%.
Okay, all right. Another pocket of the market, Anuj was talking about good earnings, Ambrish. Till now, the life insurance numbers have been so good, at least from, ICICI Pru. HDFC Standard Life, by the way, is moving higher today as well. We'll hear from SBI Life. They're reporting today. What did you think of ICICI Pru, and would you advise exposure to any of these, either of these three stocks?
No, but then see, if one is really looking at the insurance stocks, and especially the life insurance stocks, then I think one should take a much longer term view, because things are still evolving as far as this space is concerned from a stock market point of view, and still a number of analysts are still trying to understand how these companies are working, and how to read the the earnings and the balance sheet. So I think if one has a view of, say, next 3 to 5 years, I think only then one should look at picking up these. And I would surely look at a stock like SBI Life, because I think the gap which is there between HDFC Life and SBI Life, the PE gap, I think that is what will slowly catch on, because the sort of reach which SBI has, I don't think anyone else has in that space, and I think that will play out over the next couple of years. So I think at these levels, one should look at, despite the, like in the last 2 weeks, it has moved up decently well, but still I think at these levels one should still look at buying SBI Life.
Okay, Mr. Sen, Cholamandalam has corrected today after a correction. What would be a good point to get in again? Is this a stock that you like?
See, we do like this stock, and in fact I've said also yesterday or day before that after the results, you see this kind of frenzy coming in, and the management commented 25%, and on that day only I've said that wait to see the results of Shriram Transport and Shriram City Union. Today we have the Shriram City Union. I won't be surprised to see the fabulous numbers coming in. So I don't think that this is the right policy to chase the momentum after the company having posted good numbers. Allow Cholamandalam to settle. There's no point in giving the call. Allow maybe 1 week to get settled, and then you will be having choices, because there is no point in rushing at the higher level. Cholamandalam is ruling at its 52-week high. You have umpteen number of ideas available in the NBFC space. I've given you the two comparable, Shriram Transport and Shriram City Union. Again, as I've said, Shriram City Union results are due today, and then you have other choices like L&T Finance, maybe Mahindra & Mahindra Finance, Edelweiss. These kind of stocks are also available from the same NBFC space. So there is no point in giving the levels now to enter in Cholamandalam. Yes, we are keeping extremely positive, and in fact I've said that yesterday or day before that those who have been holding it can remain invested without looking for day-to-day view. But as of now, if one wants to really preempt, then probably you can pick and choose Shriram City Union. You may not, I'm not very sure. If you see the bumper results coming in, I'm expecting Q4 EPS of about 35-36 rupees. Then you may see share again, moving up by about 6 to 8% in the next 1 week or so post these numbers are out. So always try to act ahead of the numbers if you have the confidence and if you have the conviction to hold the stock with a limited time horizon.
Okay, Mr. Tulsian, thank you on that note. Thanks a lot for joining us today. By the way, just take a look at Bank Nifty's intraday chart. And Surabhi, this is really interesting, because through the day you spent the market just trying to defend yesterday's low. And look at the last 10-15 minutes move that you're seeing, and most of it is happening on account of Kotak Mahindra Bank and of course Yes Bank as well. So just we've been all talking about Yes Bank up 7%, but Kotak Mahindra Bank has moved up, and that's led to this move on the Bank Nifty. Now, I don't know, one would have expected this move at 3 p.m. It's already happening now. So does this mean at 3 p.m. again the market retreats a bit? I don't know, but for now, it's a big move that you're seeing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Even ICICI Bank still in red, but it's off the lows of the day, and the move is coinciding obviously with what you're seeing on the Nifty Bank. Yeah. So these stocks are getting excited. I don't know, Anuj. I mean, it's not so simple that you can extrapolate one bank's, you know, sort of performance to another. But the market obviously went into the season with a lot of nerves around asset quality and what's going to happen as increased provisioning plays out. We've not seen that with respect to you know, Yes Bank at least. So maybe some people wondering that you don't want to carry your shorts forward beyond a point.
You know, I think I'll tell you, in between, you know, this is the term that we use, right? Form is temporary, class is permanent. In between, I think we went through a period where the ICICI Bank, Axis Bank, SBI, they sort of picked up. And, you know, stocks like HDFC Bank, Kotak, IndusInd and Yes Bank corrected quite a bit. I think the numbers over the last 2 or 3 quarters have clearly once again told you that the large money is to be made in these low beta boring names. So, you know, the names like HDFC Bank, IndusInd. And look at the move once again in IndusInd Bank. I think HDFC Bank post the numbers has corrected quite a bit. So that could be the next one. So also today's expiry, so these moves sometimes become large, but the pocket which really contributes to the bank nifty, the large private banks, I think they are moving, and that's the reason that you're seeing this move. 7.5% higher now, by the way, on Yes Bank. You know, we thought 10% re-rating, 7.5 is almost done here.
Absolutely, what a move it's been. Okay, on that note, let's get some thoughts in on expiry itself. Yogesh Mehta, Vice President, Equity Advisory at Motilal Oswal, is now joining in. Yogesh, before I talk about the overall market, I mean, what do you think of whatever's happening on Yes Bank right now? And, you know, your thoughts on the stock?
For the Yes Bank, especially post results, we have seen uptick. 328, 329 was the resistance which it has surpassed with the volumes. So next resistance was 344, and now the post 344, currently it is above 347 level. So it seems that February 2018, 1st February, it has made a high of 367. So possible a corrective action till 360-62 level is possible, keeping 335 or 336 as a trailing stop loss. So that is getting into a bull run again on a corrective action is a bull side of scenario.
Okay, good afternoon, Yogesh. And what about the expiry? I mean, what kind of numbers are you working with?
See, on the option interest which have built up right now, so that shows the expiry could be in the range of Nifty range would be 10,570 to 590 range, and it is the stipulated range it is trading since morning. However, we have seen Bank Nifty move momentum right now, but that is not going to help unless and until we see a large counter moves with the heavyweights like TCS or HDFC or Reliance. So till that time, we believe that it should remain in this range for the expiry today.
Okay. By the way, Yogesh, I see that I think you have a long trade on ITC. It's actually HUL, which is sitting at its 52-week high, but you're looking at buying ITC in futures?
For the May series, it seems that ITC would be a better option because 270, earlier 260, 270 was the range, and it was consolidated for a very, very long time. And post the breakout last week, it is still above 270 level and holding on that. So once it is stabilized in this series, then next series we can see some firework here, keeping a stop loss of 267. Target could be in the range of 283 to 290 level respectively.
For the next series, what kind of markers are you working with, both on the Nifty and Bank Nifty?
For Bank Nifty, it seems 24,600, 700 band would be a strong support for Bank Nifty, and on the higher side, 25,200 to 250 would be the resistance for next month. And for Nifty, unless and until we cross over 10,635, 10,635 to 40 level on the closing level, till then we won't be able to see higher levels. It would be a difficult one because we have a lot many events. And on the lower side, 10,470 to 10,470 remains a strong support level, below which we can see some more sliding effect up to 10,380.
Okay, Yogesh, we'll leave it there. Thanks a lot for your time today.